What if I told you that the voice inside your head isn't always telling you the truth? Every single day, your brain quietly creates stories about who you are, what other people think of you, and what you're capable of. The strange part is, you almost never question them. You simply believe them. And those invisible lies may be controlling your decisions far more than you realize. What if everything you believe isn't true? And the first lie your brain tells you is so common that almost every person on Earth believes it. Your brain makes you believe you're not good enough. The first lie sounds harmless, but it quietly shapes your entire life. Whenever you fail, make a mistake, or compare yourself to someone else, your brain often jumps to one painful conclusion: I'm not good enough. But here's the truth. That feeling isn't proof. It's your brain trying to protect you from future disappointment by expecting the worst. The problem is, when you believe that story for too long, it becomes the prison you never knew you built. But remember, feelings are not always facts. But this isn't even the biggest lie your brain tells you. The next one silently controls millions of lives every single day. That is, I'll start tomorrow. There's another lie your brain tells you, and it's even more convincing. It whispers, don't worry, you'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll exercise. Tomorrow you'll study. Tomorrow you'll finally chase your dream. But then tomorrow becomes next week, next month, and sometimes years. Here's what's really happening. Your brain isn't trying to ruin your future. It's trying to save energy and avoid discomfort. The easier choice feels safer, even when it quietly steals the life you want. Remember, comfort feels safe, but growth begins outside it. But the biggest trick your brain ever plays isn't making you wait, it's making you believe that fear is a warning. In the next part, you'll discover your brain confuses fear with danger. And that's where the biggest misunderstanding begins. Fear doesn't always mean you're in danger. Sometimes it simply means you're standing at the edge of something unfamiliar. Your brain is designed to notice possible threats before possible rewards. That's why speaking in public feels terrifying, starting a business feels impossible, and chasing your dream feels risky. The fear feels real, but it isn't always a prediction of failure. Often, it's the price of growth. But remember, fear is often the doorway, not the destination. And the strangest part, the next lie feels so normal, almost everyone mistakes it for common sense. You can never truly change. Here comes the most dangerous lie of all. This is just who I am. Maybe you've said it before. I'm just lazy. I'm not confident. I'm terrible with people. The more you repeat those words, the more your brain starts treating them like facts. But an identity isn't something you're born with. It's something your brain slowly builds from repeated experiences and repeated stories. And here's the good news. Stories can be rewritten. Remember, your identity is a story, not a life sentence. So if change is possible, why do so many people stay stuck for years? The answer isn't willpower. It's something much deeper. That is, your brain prefers comfort over growth. Because brain loves patterns. Every repeated thought, every repeated choice, and every repeated reaction strengthens the path your mind already knows. That's why old habits feel automatic, even when they hurt you. But here's the part most people never realize. You don't break an old identity in a single moment. You weaken it, one small choice at a time. Every tiny action sends your brain a new message. This is who I'm becoming. Remember, small actions shape big identities. But there's one invisible force that can destroy every good habit, and almost everyone underestimates it. Your brain believes your environment doesn't matter. Most people blame themselves when they should be looking at their environment. Think about it. Have you ever picked up your phone without even realizing it? Opened the fridge when you weren't hungry? Or started scrolling even though you promised yourself you wouldn't? That's not because you're weak. It's because your brain is constantly responding to cues around you. Every notification, every habit, every object in your environment quietly influences what you do next. Change the environment, and your behavior often changes with it. Remember, your environment whispers before your mind decides. But there's one hidden force your brain still can't escape. It's the voice you've been listening to your entire life. Your inner voice is always right. The most powerful voice you'll ever hear isn't your parents, your teachers, or your friends. It's the one inside your own mind. It speaks every single day. Sometimes it says you can do this, but other times it whispers, don't even try. The strange part is, most people never question that voice. They assume it's the truth. But your inner voice is often shaped by old experiences, painful memories, and repeated beliefs, not by reality itself. And once you realize that, you stop obeying every thought that enters your mind. Remember, you are not every thought you think. Now comes the biggest question of all. If you can't believe every thought your brain creates, then how do you know which thoughts you should trust? But here, the second lie is this: every thought deserves your attention. So, if every thought isn't the truth, how do you know which ones deserve your attention? The answer is surprisingly simple. Don't ask, what am I thinking? Ask, what evidence do I have? Your brain can create fear in seconds, but facts take patience. Imagine your thoughts as passing clouds. Some are dark, some are bright, but none of them are the sky itself. The moment you stop treating every thought like a command, you begin to think with clarity instead of reacting on autopilot. Remember, not every thought deserves your belief. But knowing the truth isn't enough, because your brain has one final weapon. It turns knowledge into nothing unless you act. Because your mind says knowledge alone changes you. Here's the trap almost everyone falls into. They read books, watch motivational videos, save inspiring quotes, and believe they're changing. But knowledge alone doesn't rewire your life. Action does. Your brain learns best from experience, not intention. Every time you take one small step, you give your brain new evidence about who you are. That's how confidence is built, not before action, but because of it. You don't think your way into a new life, you act your way into one. Remember, action creates the evidence your brain believes. So, if action is the answer, why do intelligent people still stay stuck for years? Motivation comes before action. Here's a question that could change your life. If you woke up tomorrow with the exact same brain, the same habits, and the same daily routine, why would you expect a different future? Most people wait for motivation to magically appear. But motivation is unpredictable. Systems are reliable. Your future isn't built by one extraordinary decision. It's built by hundreds of ordinary choices that nobody sees. Every morning, you either strengthen yesterday's identity or quietly build a new one. The decision is happening, whether you notice it or not. Remember, your systems shape your future more than your motivation. But even the best system can fail if one hidden habit keeps pulling you backward, and almost everyone has it without realizing it. You're stuck because you're lazy. The habit isn't procrastination. It isn't laziness. It's unconscious repetition. Most people don't choose their actions. They repeat them. Day after day, the same thoughts create the same choices, and the same choices create the same life. Your brain is incredibly efficient. Once a behavior becomes familiar, it runs with very little effort. That's useful when the habit helps you, but dangerous when it doesn't. The moment you pause, notice the pattern, and choose differently, you interrupt the loop, and that tiny interruption can become the beginning of a completely different future. Remember, awareness is the first step to changing any habit. You're only one realization away from seeing your mind completely differently, and it changes everything. The lie is you are your thoughts. Here's the truth that changes everything. You are not trapped by your first thought. You are shaped by your next choice. Your brain may offer fear, doubt, or hesitation, but it also gives you something incredibly powerful: the ability to pause, reflect, and choose your response. That's where real freedom begins, not when negative thoughts disappear, but when they stop making your decisions for you. The moment you realize that, you stop living on autopilot and start living with intention. Remember, your thoughts appear automatically. Your response is where your power begins. But before you leave, there's one final truth that most people never discover, and once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Big changes happen overnight. So why do some people transform while others stay exactly where they are? It's rarely because they're smarter. It's rarely because they're luckier. The difference is that they stop waiting for the perfect moment. They take one small action, then another, then another. Over time, those ordinary choices become extraordinary results. Your brain slowly updates the story it tells about you, not because you wished for a new life, but because your actions kept proving a new one was possible. Change doesn't arrive all at once. It grows quietly until one day you realize you're no longer the person you used to be. Remember, every small choice is a vote for the person you're becoming. This final lesson is the reason some people completely transform their lives while others never do.
Your future is already decided. After everything you've heard today, there's one truth your brain will never tell you on its own. Your mind is a prediction machine. It constantly guesses what might happen next based on your past experiences. Sometimes those predictions help you stay safe, but sometimes they quietly keep you trapped inside yesterday's version of yourself. The future isn't something your brain can perfectly predict. It's something you create through the choices you make today. Every decision is a message to your future self, and with every intentional action, you're teaching your brain a new story. Remember, your future begins with the choice you make today. In the next 30 seconds, you'll hear one sentence that could completely change the way you see yourself forever. Final truth. Your brain isn't your enemy. It's a tool. Learn to use it. Don't let it control you. Your brain isn't your enemy. It's doing what it evolved to do. Protect you, predict what might happen next, and rely on familiar patterns. But sometimes those same patterns can hold you back. The moment you notice them, you gain the chance to choose differently. You don't have to believe every fearful thought. You don't have to let yesterday define tomorrow. One decision won't change your entire life overnight, but one decision can begin a journey that changes everything. So the next time your mind whispers, "You can't," pause, take one small step anyway, and let your actions write the next chapter. Because the most powerful story you'll ever believe is the one you choose to create. Remember, change begins with one choice. The next time your mind tells you you can't, remember this video. Because from this moment on, you'll know that voice isn't always telling you the truth. If this video changed the way you think, imagine what the next one will do.
Every week, discover the psychology behind a better life. Until next time, keep questioning your mind and keep shaping your future.